on my way up to Lewis Chapel Mountain or Mont Eagle Mountain or whatever mountain it is, to look at a project. And since I've got about 30 minutes to be bored here driving to this project, I thought I would take a minute to talk about something that's been on my mind for a long time, and that is the subject of this, that's always flying around YouTube, or the gun community. Actually, it's the survival community, the prepper community, the gun community, the tactical community. Seems like it's sort of one big community. I don't know, maybe not. But what bugs me about, I don't know, it's hard to start. This is kind of a deep subject. This the idea of WROL, and I wanted to present a concept to you guys and to see what you think. I'm thinking, in my mind, there are two different kind of preppers. And for you people who've never heard these terms, you need to just go do some research. This video is specifically for the communities that I spoke of earlier. I guess the concept I want to talk about is what these people seem to be prepping for, and the concept of WROL itself. And I would like to propose two different terms for what I consider two different types of people. In my mind, from my observations over the past couple of years, there seems to be two different kinds of people, two different kinds of preppers. There's what I call the constitutional prepper, and for the lack of a better term, and a hyena prepper. Now I know that hyena is a popular term that floats around our community, but I think you'll understand once I get into this concept or debate or conversation, whatever you want to call it. After I get into it a little bit, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Those people who are prepping to be prepared for national disasters, storms, whatever, Katrina type situations, who are just wanting to be prepared to protect their families. Let me just go through some of the traits I think about when I think of a constitutional prepper. They generally love their country, and they want to see their country preserved. And they want to see the Constitution preserved, and that's why I think of them as constitutional preppers. And when they think of the term WROL, they're not actually thinking about necessarily there being a period where there's a without law, where there's, because technically the only way our law could be abolished is if we were, our Constitution was abolished. Take for example Katrina. The law was never, there was never a period without law. There was a period of lawlessness, not a period without law. So people use this term loosely, I think, too loosely. And I think the point I'm trying to make here is that, and let me just go through some more of the traits, I think, when I think of constitutional preppers. Like I said before, they want to see our Constitution preserved and followed. They love their country. They typically are people who believe in something, not necessarily all the same religion, but they typically at least believe in a creator. They appreciate law enforcement. They respect law enforcement. They appreciate what they do. They love the military. They appreciate what our military, the people in the military do. You know, first responders, EMT, firemen, all those people, they respect what they do and appreciate what they do. These are the types of people who are preparing to protect our country, protect themselves first, obviously, and their families, and to protect our country. And I think they would, you know, they would band together in a real emergency to preserve our Constitution and our Republic. Now, on the other hand, let me give you some of the traits that I have noticed that I'm calling a hyena prepper. Is that, now let me go back to the constitutional preppers just for 1 second. They will generally have enough firearms to serve the purpose. In other words, you know, they'll have, you know, a rifle, a pistol, a shotgun, whatever ammunition they may need. Now, the hyena prepper, this is what made me think of it. The first thing I think of when I think of a hyena prepper is a guy with a vault that has 20 AKs in it, you know, and who is actually going to create a gravity around himself and generally end up causing more problems than he solves. But the other thing I've noticed about hyena preppers is that they generally hold contempt for our country. They don't love America. They despise, you know, our country, and they despise the government. And where a constitutional prepper will be involved in the political process, a hyena prepper will actually just prepare for whatever he thinks is going to happen, and not make it better. A constitutional prepper will actually get involved in the election process and develop candidates and be involved and actually try to improve our country. Whereas, you know, you got these hyena preppers sit around and, you know, clean their guns and bitch about, you know, the government, we're going to kick their ass and all this, and they comment when they see our fine police officers get hurt, or, you know, our fine military get hurt. It's almost like they, you know, enjoy seeing them. You know, it kind of makes me sick, really, to my stomach, to see some of these people. And usually another you know, thing about hyena preppers is that they're usually younger people who have no experience with real danger and they usually haven't seen, you know, real harm to people. Unfortunately, they're the, you know, the World of Warcraft generation, the Call of Duty generation, and these people, you know, they don't have respect for law enforcement. They don't have respect for our military. They don't respect or love our country. They're generally, I hate to say it, atheists, which is fine. I don't have, you know, that's the thing, but I've just noticed that's a typical trait. And to be honest with you, these are the types of people that are not going to be helping their fellow man in times of trouble. As a matter of fact, I think this type, the hyena prepper, is probably going to be the ones you're going to have to watch out for. It's not going to be your government or your neighbor that you trust. You know, it'll be these guys. When they run out of food or whatever, ammunition, they're going to be coming after your stuff. And you know, that's just the way I envision them. You know, this is just ideas I'm throwing out. I don't know any particular people on either side. Actually, I think there are some nice examples of what I consider constitutional preppers. Would be Such. I think he's a great guy, and although, don't take this wrong, Such, I do think sometimes you tend to lean towards extreme view of this, but I always appreciate it when you say "Long live the Republic," because I'm trusting that you would be one that would help preserve it and not be part of the Hyena crowd that would actually love to see our country torn down. And I truly believe that you would be somebody that would help your community, help your neighbor, and whereas the Hyena prepper would be someone who would hoard stuff, you know, fight off their neighbors. And I'm a little disturbed by one of your friends there who seems to be in that mode where he has this he plays out this scenario where he shoots one of his neighbors instead of sharing with them. And that's a little disturbing, but you know, I understand the idea of survival, but that's a little extreme in my book. If I had a neighbor who was starving, I would help them. I wouldn't shoot I wouldn't shoot them if they tried to steal my chickens. So I don't know. This gets into a lot. You can see how dynamic this whole subject is, and I just think there are two different types of people when you're talking about this, and I think it's important. Now let me just say this. I think the Bushcraft, I really respect the Bushcraft community. I've been involved with that community for a while. And those people, to me, are more prepared physically and mentally, and probably could survive longer than most of the preppers who are used to having the comforts of home and who are hoarding food and supplies in their home. The Bushcraft community silently prepares. They know how to handle nature. They know how to survive in the woods, and they don't wave their AKs in the air, you know, shooting them around like crazy nutheads. They can survive out in the woods without an AK. I just really respect those in the Bushcraft community, and I really appreciate their approach to this concept, this idea of being prepared. Because if you look at most of them, they're usually they maintain their health and fitness. They can handle themselves in the woods. They can build traps. They know how to build shelters. You know, that's the true survivalist right there. And anyway, I'm on this little trip here, but I've prepared kind of a comparison of traits, I think, you know, of the two different types of preppers. And here's my challenge to the constitutional preppers. And obviously, you know, I can't tell you what to do in your videos, but I would like to see more constitutional preppers state their goals as far as what would actually be their goals and what their intent is. You know, I like Such's approach where he makes known, you know, that he believes in our republic and he would be willing to protect it and you know, defend it. And I'm the same way. You know, part of this video is you know, I'm at the end of it, I'm going to swear a personal oath to uphold the Constitution. And I've kind of you know, found a version of something that's similar to what Congress, you know, takes when they enter office. And I think as citizens of the United States, we should all swear an oath to uphold the Constitution and defend the Constitution. And I just think, you know, if you love your country like I do, you know, I'm not necessarily physically fit enough to join the military. And I'm 48 years old, too old, but if it came down to defending our country on our own soil, I would do it as best I could. And here's the difference too. Here's another thing. You know, constitutional preppers don't live in fear. They love their country. They generally love God. They have faith, and you know what's going to happen next, and they just don't live in fear. It seems to me that a lot of your Hyena preppers they tend to live in fear all the time of law enforcement and military, and they're always concerned about, you know, their neighbor. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It's just I guess it's just an impression I get. The comments that I see and the way they prepare it, and the look on their face and the look in their eyes, you know, you can tell a lot about somebody from their eyes, just looking at them and the way they carry themselves. They seem to live in fear, and it's just to me it's a sad existence. And you know, I don't consider myself much of a prepper. I like the bushcraft community. I like the outdoor aspect. You know, I have a generator that's mainly for power outages, for storms or whatever. Never had to use it. You know, we have a little food, probably for a week stored up, but probably not even that long, probably 3 or 4 days. So I probably wouldn't meet the criteria of a prepper, even though I would like to be more prepared. But I don't live in fear either. I have a rifle, I have 1 rifle, 1 shotgun, 1 pistol, and that's mainly to help train Alex, you know, with firearms and teach him safety. And just to keep in practice. It's fun going to the range and you know, target practicing. And but I don't live in fear. And I don't fear my government. You know, I feel like I'm part of the process. I blog a lot about politics, and I feel like, you know, I've helped put a few in office over the years, a few good guys, and you know, I've worked on some campaigns, putting up signs and volunteering and donating a little money here and there. And I've tried to be as involved in the political process as I can. Heck, maybe someday I may even run for mayor of my town, who knows. But I think that's our approach. I think we should change. And if you look, one more point I want to make, I'm probably going to run out of memory here on my camera, or battery 1. But one more quick point is that, oh, darn it, what was I going to say? That's what happens when you get old. What was I going to say? Darn it. We were talking about politicians and being part of the process. Oh, yeah, November. The last election. Good Lord, people. If the last election was not enough to make you realize that we can make a difference, we can make a change in our country quickly, then you're just not paying attention to the news, actually. You're not paying attention to much at all. You need to come out of your bunkers and turn on the news every now and then. I'm not a big TV watcher, but, you know, subscribe to the AP's. AP has a good YouTube site. Reuters has a good YouTube site. I subscribe to them. They have quick videos about current news. Come out of your bunkers, put down your AKs, you know, look at, you know, read the news. If you actually follow politics, you'll realize that the Tea Party did a great job starting. If you look at a video I did a year ago when the Tea Party started really catching steam, we have a local Tea Party chapter. I've got a video. You go look at it. You'll see how excited people were. This was 6 or 8 months before the election. People were just really excited, and that whole movement changed things, and people got involved, and they changed their government for the better. And the only reason we didn't totally take out, you know, I don't mean to say take out, replace, you know, all those crazy politicians was because they just weren't up for re-election. In 2012, you'll see another wave of people, you know, being replaced. And it's going to take time. It may take 10 or 12 years, but there's an effort there. And while you're storing, you know, food and ammunition, you could be out spending some of that effort helping to develop candidates and, you know, get involved in the election process. We can turn this country around. You know, oh man, when I think about it, I just get choked up of how, I don't know, if you're patriotic at all and you just think about the process, and you get involved and you see the changes, the real change for better, not this crappy change we've had in the past couple of years. You know, you just, I don't know. So anyway, guys, it's probably a long, boring video, but I just want to propose that concept. I wanted to challenge those people who feel are constitutional preppers. Let's start showing our intent better in our videos, and just, you know, maybe we can, you know, maybe we can teach these Hyena guys that, look, you know, you can make a difference. You don't have to live in fear. You can change your government for the better. And if they don't want to get involved like that, you know who the real problems are going to be. Because if we do have real problems, I have faith in our military and our law enforcement that they will do the right thing. Okay, the Hyena preppers are the ones you got to worry about. Okay, I'm just telling you. So anyway, guys, I'm getting off the highway here. I actually don't know which way I'm supposed to turn. I think I'm supposed to go this way. Well, I made it back to the ranch. Such a beautiful day. I just thought I'd walk outside and do the last part of this video. And how could you hate this country? You know, I just don't understand it. Some of it just baffles me. But these are my notes. They got kind of bent up. And what's that? Looks like a Bible. I guess I'm a gun-toting Bible thumper, like one of our politicians claimed about us Southerners. But anyway, here's the last part of this video. This is my challenge to all preppers. And this is what I swear to do. I solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will, good Lord, may have to redo this. And that I will well and faithfully discharge my duties as a citizen of the United States of America. So help me God. And I mean it, guys. I know most people watching this video won't understand what our community talks about half the time, but I just think it's important. We're at a critical point in our country, and we need to change things around through the political process and stop fearing government, law enforcement, and military. They're the good guys. So, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Please leave video responses. Really would like to hear some of you guys' opinions on some of the things I've said. I'm certainly no authority. Just these are just some thoughts.